You're watching News 12 on your side.
From the station that's on your side, this is News 12, First at 5.
A live look over our Beach Island camera and Doppler Max radar. Rain in the forecast today, plus a first alert issued for Sunday. The latest for your weekend forecast straight ahead. But first, a disturbing story. Parents in Richmond County, you may want to listen up for this. A former teacher's aide at Glen Hills Elementary facing 8 counts of child molestation. Parents, take a look to see if you recognize this man. We first told you about Corey Rollins after the Richmond County Sheriff's Office arrested him for licking and tickling a 7-year-old's feet in January at Urban Air. Now an indictment shows Rollins is accused of molesting at least 3 other kids during his time as a teacher's aide. It's still not clear where any of these other alleged incidents happened. We do know all 4 victims were under 16 years old, according to the indictment. We're making calls and digging deeper into the story, and we'll have much more of this coming up in the next half hour. Well, turning to weather now, we're taking a live
cast in just a few minutes. Well,
thanks, Andy. This just in, new information in the last 15 minutes here. Exit 18 on I-20 eastbound in Aiken is back open after this 18-wheeler caught fire, sending flames shooting up dozens of feet in the air. The Aiken County Sheriff's Office says that it happened at around 5:44 this morning. Thankfully, no injuries here. Fire crews say it looks like the brakes and the rear wheels started the blaze. Well, according to Georgia Public Health statistics, black women account for more than 48 deaths out of 100,000 births, while white women account for about half of that. In South Carolina, black mothers experienced a 67% higher pregnancy-related death than white mothers in 2018 and 2019. News 12's Taylor Martin is live in the newsroom. Taylor, the big question here is why, but what were you able to find out today?
From what I found, these numbers all boil down to prenatal and postnatal care of the mother and how many underlying conditions can be caught before it's too late. A 2018 to 2020 report from the Georgia Department of Public Health shows hemorrhage, mental health conditions, and cardiomyopathy are the leading causes of pregnancy-related deaths. But the biggest questions are why and what causes this. I spoke with Dr. John Liu at the Medical College of Georgia about the causes.
High blood pressure can lead to cardiovascular disease. It can lead to bleeding, hemorrhage. It can lead to disease which many women are aware of called preeclampsia and then eclampsia. So they can have a seizure that also affects the mother and the baby.
All new on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we're learning more about the current state of maternal health in Georgia.
Thanks, Taylor. In Albany, Georgia, a new women's center is now open to try and tackle the ongoing shortage of prenatal care and delivery services in southwest Georgia. This comes on the same day the Donaldsonville Hospital announced they're closing their OB department. Yesterday, the Eloise Edge OBGYN Center officially opened its doors. The center is named after a midwife who worked in Albany for decades. To help keep the center open, providers will be recruited from inside and outside of the county. Edge believes this will help continue her mission to bring down mortality rates.
It's like God is helping us. Someone's listening. My motto about helping others, helping the least of those.
The new care center will be serving almost 3,000 patients. Senator Tim Scott at Branch Library is back open. This is new video of their grand reopening celebration after their recent renovations. From new tables and chairs to adding more books for the community. Several former and current Richmond County commissioners were there today. If you would like to head out there to see the new additions for yourself, this branch closes at 5:30, so you still have a little bit of time to get out there and check it out. Well, in the wake of these recent mass shootings, one North Carolina woman is speaking out on the anniversary of her becoming a victim. Her story is up next, coming up after the break. Anthony.
All right, well, as you're heading out the door, we are dodging a few isolated showers. Here's a live look at Grovetown and I-20 looking towards Evans. You can see just one little shower off in the distance. We're going to dodge a few more over the next couple of hours. Full forecast coming up next.
Time and off select Sealy. Plus, take $1,000 off this mattress. Don't snooze on these savings. Only at Ashley.
More storms could hit South Florida today after massive flooding wreaked havoc in communities there this week. Fort Lauderdale was seemingly hit with the worst, with a historic amount of rain of more than 2 feet. One forecaster said the rainfall was similar to that of a high-end hurricane. Streets became lakes and hundreds of people had to go to emergency shelters. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis issued a state of emergency for Broward County that will provide additional resources to crews and people living in that area. And Anthony, we were taking a look at the radar yesterday as that weather started to move our way. It almost looked like a hurricane the way it was moving.
Yeah, what's crazy is the center of that storm, if you will, was all the way in Mississippi, but those rain bands trailed all the way into Florida. And as you can see here, just the bullseye in Fort Lauderdale getting a radar estimated close to 21 inches. You go a little bit further to the north, they only got 2 inches. In Miami, only got about 5 inches of rainfall. So very narrow band for folks right there in Fort Lauderdale getting close to 2 feet of rainfall. Very incredible stuff. Well, let's go here locally. We're talking about a few isolated, very low isolated tornado risk. I really don't think we're going to have to worry about that as we go through the day on Sunday. So some good news there for sure. The next 7 days, we're going to dry things out. A little bit breezy Monday and Tuesday. Temperature-wise, right around 72 to 79. Then back to the 80s both Wednesday all the way through Friday. Will?
Thanks, Anthony. It's a memory that no one wants to have, but it's becoming an increasing part of the minds of mass shooting survivors. Lynn Gardner was celebrating a birthday with her friend in Raleigh, North Carolina, when she became a victim in a mass shooting, and her friend sadly became a statistic. Deanna Harley shares Lynn's memory of that day.
I heard bang, bang, bang. And I heard Nicole say, "Why are you shooting us?"
6 months to the day after a gunman shot Lynn Gardner on her street, she's remembering the day her life changed. It started out with her celebrating her birthday with her good friend Nicole Connors.
The food was good, the atmosphere was good, the company was good. We were laughing like girls.
The two drove back to their homes in Raleigh's Hedingham neighborhood, ready to take their dogs on a walk.
I'm waiting for her in front of her mailbox. And I noticed as I was approaching the mailbox, on my left peripheral, I could see someone standing beside me in black camo pants.
That's when Raleigh police say 15-year-old Austin Thompson approached the two women and opened fire, killing Nicole. Lynn described the moment as a blur.
My eyes start surveying, my surroundings, and I'm looking down at my body, and I see that I'm lying in a pool of blood.
Lynn was shot several times, including in her face. She spent over 3 months recovering in the hospital, her days filled with surgeries and physical therapy, but she says more importantly, filled with love from family, friends, even strangers from across the country. All of that has helped Lynn forgive.
I knew in order for me to go forward, I had to forgive Austin.
After being released from the hospital, she calls this chapter of her life her new season. She's connected with other survivors, regained physical strength.
I go to PT twice a week, and we're working on my balance and endurance.
And made some big personal changes.
Do you still live in Hedingham?
No, ma'am. I don't want to live there and keep going over and over with that event.
She says she has found peace and is thankful to be alive.
I know we live in a dark world, a mean world. People make, crazy decisions, and they do things to people that change their world. But I'm not going to let what happened to me not be the loving and caring person that I am.
And Lynn says that she's scheduled for another hospital stay this week for yet another surgery, but did say the love and prayers have truly helped her get through this. Well, moving can be a great experience for anyone until you're spending more money than you already need to. Find out how you can find reliable movers coming up after the break.
First Alert Record Dealer today.
What makes the Icoats Law Firm different?
For starters, we've served this community for over 45 years.
And we know that every client is unique. We consider you friends, neighbors, and family.
We prove it in the way we fight tirelessly for your justice.
Let the Icoats Law Firm fight for the justice you deserve.
Since 1982.
A warning as peak moving season gets underway. There's been a big increase in recent years in the number of complaints to the government about household moves. In this Watching Your Wallet, consumer investigator Rachel DePompa spoke to a former police officer who now owns a moving company. She finds out how to avoid becoming the victim of moving scams.
It's that time of year. Many leases are up and folks are buying a new home. So moving companies, well, they get really busy between April and October. But it also means you need to be careful about who you hire to move your valuables. Complaints about moving scams are on the rise, according to the Department of Transportation. Spiro Georgiadakis has been in the moving business for 26 years. The former cop is now the CEO of Good Greek Moving and Storage. He says, watch out for a company that never actually comes to your home to look at what they are moving.
They'll quote customers ridiculously low prices without ever having seen what is to be shipped, right? It's all over the telephone or online, just with basic information. And so they'll lowball. It's called lowballing them, right? They'll reel them in with a low price, and then of course once the truck ultimately shows up and gets the belongings on, well, then the scam begins.
They up the price and hold your valuables hostage and say they only accept cash or wires. It's an extremely stressful situation. Georgiadakis says consumers need to figure out whether they are dealing with an actual moving company or if they are dealing with a broker.
A broker does not have any trucks, doesn't have any labor. They're simply selling a job to you. Typically, they get a 20% deposit. That's their money that they make, and then they sell the job off to whoever is willing to take it to California or wherever it's going.
Georgiadakis says if a company's website has no local address and no information about the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Registration, that's a red flag. He says to call around and get several quotes for your move. If someone doesn't come out to inspect your household goods and they won't give you a written estimate, be wary. And on the day of your move, if a rental truck shows up rather than a company-owned or marked fleet truck, be cautious. Keep all records of contracts, proof of payments, and all communication with the moving company in case you need it. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Rachel DePompa.
After several bank collapses a month ago, some consumers are reining in their spending over recession fears. That's according to data out from Friday from the Commerce Department. Retail sales fell by 1% in March compared to February. Economists were expecting a drop less than that. The Fed says that banking crisis is likely to push the nation into a mild recession later this year. Anthony.
All right, well, as we go through the rest of this evening, we're getting a chance to dry things up a little bit more, and we're going to stay dry as we go through the day tomorrow. Check this out. Plenty of sunshine for our Saturday, but it turns a little bit more stormy as we go through the day on Sunday. We'll have one more check of that forecast when we come back.
The accident was not my fault.
When you're injured, you need help fast. Call George Sink Injury Lawyers all night.
You need someone that's gonna fight for you. Call now.
Call George Sink Injury Lawyers at all night. I got her in the car.
Chip Lewis here with your RU64.com weather report. Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast. It's going to be a rough start to the week with winds topping out at 64 miles per hour and a 64% chance of rain. Don't forget that umbrella or just call in sick. But don't worry, there are clear skies ahead with my favorite temperature, 64 degrees as your high and your low for the rest of the week.
Sir, who let you in here? Security!
RU64.com.